So, let me continue. I think I'd said something towards the end there about, I can't remember what I was talking about. It's something to do with not eating meat, I suppose. And how maybe it's about time we, as people, maybe considered our treatment of other beings on the planet as a bit of a mirror to hold up to our so-called humanity, whatever's left of that. We're funny old beings. We seem to be, I think I've probably said in a previous one, we're very much beings of our senses. We kind of, we experience the 3D world through our senses. We kind of, I guess, on many levels create our reality through our senses. And I think that is also true when it comes to our food choices. You hear a lot of people will say, I love meat too much. I love cheese. Whatever it might be. Yeah, it's fine. Why not? I'm not gonna, say that I can't really care either way whether someone likes meat or cheese. It's more it's interesting how our senses, our need to stimulate our senses becomes so prevalent. Because really, when it comes down to food, it's not really got anything to do with massively with how amazingly amazing it tastes and looks. Obviously, it makes it more appealing to us if it does do those things. But ultimately, food is there to do a job, to provide us with nutrients and energy, to sustain us. That's kind of pretty much its function. And the senses that are involved would, I would presume, originally have been not to make us think, oh wow, this looks like a great big feast, I'm going to shove this down my trap. It would have been to be able to pick up whether food was going to cause us harm or not, whether it smelled or tasted or looked, off in some way, poisonous or rotten, or whatever it might be. Our senses would have picked up on that. If something's gone foul, it's going to smell foul. You're not going to eat it because obviously you're putting your life at risk, and that's using our senses as a means of survival. Obviously these days we don't at this moment have to rely on those senses when it comes to our food for our survival, because of the way stuff is mainly mass made and so on, and dated and frozen and has best before dates and so on. So usually it's a lot harder to get poorly through food if we're generally making it ourselves. Obviously you can't necessarily guarantee it if you're at a restaurant or something. Sometimes shit happens, sometimes quite literally. But yeah, I guess this whole overstimulation of the senses is part of what feeds that massive meat, dairy, whatever else industries as much as anything else. Hence the endless adverts, the way that food is presented to make it look appetising. And this overstimulation of senses carries on through everything, does it not? Our senses are constantly bombarded. So there you've got your taste senses from the food, and also your smell senses, but your smell senses are also in the endless, look at the endless perfume and aftershave, whatever else adverts that people are bombarded with. God, I've got to think of all different sensations now. Smells, hearing, again, the ever increasing levels of digital sound, which I'm not entirely sure is particularly great for our analog ears, but um, sight, yeah, again, totally overstimulated in our what we're experiencing. Again, the ever more high definition, which again I'm not entirely sure is particularly great for the eyes, and even touch in terms of clothing, I guess. I'm sure that there are ways if I sit and think about it that our touch senses are also overstimulated, but particularly our sight, hearing, um, is overstimulated by technology, by the constant bombardment of screens, of social media, of adverts, and so on. And again, it's concerning when it comes to our kids, who are the first generation really to be totally immersed in this almost every minute of the day, and and in the different ways that they may be being harmed by having their senses bombarded constantly. I see it in it's that thing where once you hit a certain level of stimulation, then that's the level that needs hitting again. Otherwise there's that come down, and I do see it. I see kids who watch, say they're quite a young kid, and they'll watch a film which might be maybe of an older age, and their rating wise than they may watch usually, or whatever. And so therefore it does contain more violence, or more explosions, or more language, and so on. And the thing is, once they've watched a few of these, that's that's the level. That's the level, and it's very difficult then to watch something which is of a slower pace, or more of a typical little kids movie, or whatever it might be, because they're addicted in some ways. That's the level that their senses need stimulating back up to in order to get that need met. And the same goes with food and whatever else. It's that level of overstimulation. I'm not sure our senses were ever intended to be overstimulated like that. Our senses were there for us to be able to make our way through the world, to keep us safe, and also to be able to see the world around us, experience the joy of the world around us, to be able to take in a sunrise and a sunset, to be able to navigate stars, or to watch, or to know what the weather was going to be that day, or just, it doesn't matter what it was. But it was there. Our senses provided a actual meaningful purpose. We were experiencing the world. We were giving something out to the world. We weren't being bombarded. Our senses weren't being bombarded constantly, and we were giving something out to it. And I've said it before. It's a totally one-sided operation at the minute. It's our senses which are getting bombarded, pretty much 95% or more than that, and we are not giving anything back into the world in terms of what we create. And again, that's what it comes down to. We create from inside ourselves, and we bring that creation out in whatever way back out into the world. And it doesn't matter whether it's through movement, or writing a story, or a poem, or a song, or playing an instrument, or doing a drawing, or a sculpture, or doing some gardening. They're just creative acts are us bringing something from inside ourselves out into the world. It's us not being bombarded into ourselves. It's about that doing the opposite, giving something back out again, and it's just so important to do it. And I struggle with it. I don't. I've had weeks where it's just been like, oh, do you know what? But then in the end, it's part of me that just can't. That has to do it. That just feel like if I don't give something back, then what am I? I'm nothing. I'm just a sponge for shit, for just meaningless crap. And doesn't necessarily mean I've got loads to say, but to not create in some ways is to give up, and to give up is what's the point then? And I don't want to give up, so therefore I will find it in me to create something. And I guess that was just another point I just wanted to make again.